So, as we've watched Vancouver implode again, um, I'm reminded of remember early on in the season when the Hurricanes had a big lead on Vancouver and Vancouver came back and won. I had people coming on my channel to say, look at that, the Canucks came back and won. And I'm like, it was against the Hurricanes. And I got told that it doesn't matter, win's a win. How's that feel now? But I want to talk about the Metropolitan Division because I love the Patrick Division. Patrick Division, for those of you who are too young to remember, in the 1980s and 1990s, the divisions were the Smythe, Norris, Adams, Patrick. I'm old enough to remember them just like that. The Smythe division was Edmonton and Calgary and everybody else. The Norris division was a bunch of very good physical teams. The Adams division was the Montreal Canadiens, the Boston Bruins, Quebec Nordiques, Hartford Whalers, Buffalo Sabres, who bloodied each other regularly. And then you had the Adams, or the Patrick division. You had Washington, Pittsburgh, Philly, Islanders, Rangers, New Jersey. 6. Every division had 5 teams except the Patrick, which had 6. The top 4 teams in each division made the playoffs. Regularly, the Patrick would see teams miss the playoffs that would have made it if it had been top 16 teams. People complain about that now in the NHL, but it's just minor, like 1-point differences. We're talking major differences here. Now, there's 1 minute left, so I'm going to go ahead and call it Columbus is beating Edmonton tonight. This will be Columbus' 7th win in a row. And where does it entitle them to be? 1 point out of first. See, when you're in the division with the Penguins are intimidating. The Rangers, who have slowed, but they're still looking really, really good this year. The Capitals, who are on a 4-game winning streak. The Flyers, 9-game winning streak. Columbus could be forgiven for feeling like the world's against them right now. It sucks. If you're a Blue Jackets fan right now, and not only that, I'll even go further. The Devils, 30 points in 28 games. They've had a relatively good season so far, and they're 8 points out of 5th in their division. Even though they would cross over, and in the Atlantic Division, they'd have a much better chance of making the playoffs. Same with the Hurricanes, who scored 6 tonight against the Canucks in that third period. A horrible third period. But that whole game was a joke. Anyways, and proof that the game I watched last night that was 2-1 is infinitely better than the shootout game between Vancouver and Carolina, which was terrible. And then there's the Islanders dragging the rear. The Islanders are 11 points back of the Blue Jackets for 5th. So the Islanders are done. The Islanders will not make the playoffs this year. It is insane to see just how good this division is. And each team seems to be full value for it. Pittsburgh is intimidating from top to bottom. They've got Matt Murray, who's one of the best young goaltenders in the league. You've got, the best depth at center in the league. You've got fantastic defense. Team depth is fantastic. The Rangers are scoring a lot of goals, which is camouflaging some iffy starts for Lundqvist and showing that this team has a dynamic offense. Jimmy Vesey has really stepped in and played well. He's not, point a game, Calder Trophy, but he's played really, really well. The Capitals, Ovechkin isn't playing like Ovechkin yet, and yet the Capitals are sitting 11 games above 500. 500, of course, including the loser point. And then you got the Flyers, 9 wins in a row. Stolarz looked good the other night, but it doesn't seem to matter who's in net. A lot of talk about Steve Mason and how Mason's turned it around. Honestly, this is a Philadelphia Flyers team thing. The whole team has bought in. Braden Shen finally seems to be getting it. And as I said in the video earlier tonight, Claude Giroux is playing like the Claude Giroux that earned that huge contract he got. The Blue Jackets are one of the most consistent teams right now in the NHL, and I've said it in previous years as well. If they hadn't blown 2 leads against the Bruins, this would be a team that would be looking at a 19-3-4 record. intimidating to say the least. Tortorella suits the Jackets for whatever reason, and he hasn't playing great hockey. Uh, the Metro Division is going to feature some of the best games in hockey from this point forward because so many teams are so good and there's so little difference between them. You know, you can look at the Atlantic Division and you've got Montreal and then you got a drop. You look at the Pacific Division, you've got Anaheim, San Jose, LA. They're all kind of middling. None of them has really shown themselves to be consistent contender. They haven't really got on that kind of a streak yet, any of them. San Jose's got it in them. Anaheim can do it. It's just they haven't quite done it yet. The Central, you've got the Hawks playing really well. The Blues are on and off playing really, really well, and Minnesota. And then there's a drop. And I know Nashville's in the running, and Winnipeg fans want me to say they're in the running, but in general, there's that drop. The Metro Division, I don't see it. I just don't. You know, the Islanders are bringing up the rear, sure, and they haven't played very well, but that's what happens when you get rid of Okposo and bring in Andrew Ladd to replace him. So, you know, there's that. And just some of the baffling moves they made in the offseason. But how much better would the Islanders be if they had kept Matt Martin and Kyle Okposo? Are we going to say, oh, well, they'd be in the playoffs too? I really doubt it. They were due for a fall anyways. But it's interesting. I don't think there's any doubt that the Metro Division is the best division in hockey. If you guys want to make an argument in the comments for the Central, you can. If you want to make an argument for the Pacific, you're wrong. If you want to make an argument for the Atlantic, you're high, and you should go to bed. Or if you're convinced the Atlantic's the best, you should probably call a doctor because they're not. Boston's third in that division, so they're not the best. But all kidding aside, the Metro reminds me of the old Patrick, and it's just I get all these good feelings looking at the Rangers, Penguins, Capitals, Flyers, all up there. The Devils right now would finish out of the playoffs, but they're playing really well. The Hurricanes are, but still, you've got the old Patrick division here, and we've got this fantastic old-fashioned 80s, early 90s fight for a playoff spot. So anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm done for tonight, but I will definitely be back with more content tomorrow. I would like to thank people who recently subscribed. We're getting closer to that 1,500 number. It'd be fantastic. I do plan on doing a video for 1,500 subscriber if and when they arrive. And yeah, this is some great hockey that we're seeing right now. You know, Columbus plays a fantastic game in Edmonton, and they're together and they're really focused on the task at hand. And as much as I criticized Tortorella when he was in Vancouver and I laughed at the idea of him turning them around, I will give him full credit for his role in turning Columbus around. But I would certainly think that my video last summer where I said Sergei Bobrovsky was a top 10 goaltender in the NHL, I would think I've been proven right so far 27 games into the season. We'll see if that holds up, though. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all again tomorrow.